In the news tonight, mothers and newborns transferred to Lautoka. More than 500 returned to work following approvals. And police officers told to keep up the tempo.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Edwin Nunn.
Bulawinaka, Fiji. Due to the rising COVID-19 at the CWM hospital in Suva, some mothers and babies have been transferred to the Lautoka hospital. Minister for Health Dr. Ifiremi Wangainambete told FBC News the measures being taken to ensure the safety of these mothers and their newborns. He says the ministry also wants to ensure they are well cared for. Dr. Wangainambete adds this is part of their strategic plan for the ministry to act upon when the need arises. The CWM hospital recorded its first 2 cases on June 1st, and since their numbers have continued to go up, with 19 reported yesterday. Around 503 hairdressers and barbers in Viti Levu can now return to work following approvals by the Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Tourism. Permanent Secretary Shaheen Ali says the ministry has approved 149 hairdresser-barber applications. Apanisa Wangai Randovu reports these businesses will only operate on an appointment basis.
The Permanent Secretary says protocols for safe operations have been developed to allow for hairdressing services to reopen.
We've come up with a set of protocols that we deem that can allow them to operate safely. Thus, it becomes very, very important for those hairdressers and barbershops to follow the protocols to the letter.
Ali says relevant authorities will monitor operations to ensure these high-risk businesses are following protocols.
We have links with the Fiji Police Force. We have now also brought on board the Municipal Council. And Ministry of Health is also part of the team. We are calling them COVID safe ambassadors. And that's the approach they are taking. They're taking a helpful approach.
Barbershop operators say they are also adjusting to the new normal and will ensure they are compliant.
It's like 50% operation now. So these 2 gonna be off, so the other 2 gonna come. So it's like that, we give all boys to work.
People are calling and making appointments. So we are quite happy with the customer response.
The ministry has warned that breach of protocols can lead to the closure of a business. Anyone found not complying can be fined up to $10,000 and or imprisonment of up to 5 years. Apanisa Wangai, FBC News.
The Ministry of Fisheries has issued 46 COVID-19 fishing passes for both subsistence and commercial purposes. Acting Permanent Secretary Penembali Nambuli says the C-19 passes will allow fishermen in the COVID containment areas to fish for food and income. Kelly Vadala reports.
As of yesterday, 43 fishing passes were issued for the Western Division and 3 for the Central area.
The expected benefit is really to assist our people in the communities with their food security. That's a matter of priority for all of us. And government recognizes that there's a need to ensure that people have access to the basic necessities.
The passes are part of government strategy to progressively allow Fijians to adjust to the new normal.
For those who are actually involved in commercial activities, the fishing passes will help them to generate some income and support their livelihood.
Fisheries Minister Semikara Lavisau says all fishermen needed to meet strict requirements before the passes were issued.
There are our people mainly from rural local communities that just go out for their own meals, for their own feed. For commercial fishermen, normally it's more than a day, so it'll be around about 3 nights of fishing.
Anyone found breaching the conditions of their pass will face legal action. They will be liable to a fine of $10,000 or imprisonment or both under the Public Health Act 1935. Kelly Vadala, FBC News.
Minister for Defence and Policing Inia Seruiratu has encouraged police officers to keep up the tempo of their work. Police officers are serving on the front line of government's COVID-19 operations since the first case was recorded last year. While visiting the containment borders in the Central Division, Seruiratu says that there have been lots of criticism and misinformation, but officers must rise above and keep up the good work. The minister met officers yesterday to personally acknowledge their service and sacrifice. Seruiratu urged officers to observe all protocols and maintain discipline and professionalism. He stressed that officers must not let laxity and complacency creep into the system. Australia's supply of AstraZeneca vaccine is setting Fiji on track to inoculating its targeted population ahead of many developed countries. Fiji continues its battle to contain the virus, having reserved enough doses for all eligible Fijians. Apanisa Wangairandovo reports Australia has recognized the pace at which the vaccine is being administered by local authorities.
There are 586,651 Fijians eligible for the vaccine, and Australia has assured its support in supplying the doses.
You are on track to being one of the very few countries, if not the only country in the world, to have vaccinated your entire population, and I think you've done it in record time, so I take my hat off to everyone involved.
Minister for Economy Ayaz Said Kayum says the support is allowing Fiji to prepare for recoveries while at the same time ensuring Fijians are safe.
Even though we had budgeted to buy vaccines, accessibility has been an issue, in fact, for many countries. So we are doubly grateful to the Australian government for giving us access to these vaccines.
The Minister for Economy says Fijians who have been vaccinated may be required to have vaccine passports in the future. He says this is part of the budget expenditure, and while it is yet to be developed, it will make traveling internationally and domestically easier. Apanisa Wangairandovo, FBC News.
Up ahead, NGO steps forward to assist families. Welcome back. More non-government organizations are stepping forward to assist Fijians as the pandemic has left thousands without jobs. One in particular is the GMR Foundation Fiji that's been distributing food rations around the country. Felipe Naikaso has more.
Almost 4,000 rations have been distributed to families in need by the GMR Foundation Fiji, and yesterday the Coral Coast was the target.
This ration is for all the needy people who had been affected in the country through this pandemic in these COVID times. This distribution we have done with the strict guidelines from Ministry of Health.
500 basic food packs were distributed to the villages in Sigatoka as more requests came in. For the families, it's a timely assistance as many have been left unemployed for months.
We are very grateful. We are very happy to have this donation from the Muslim Association.
It was a big help for the villagers as many are going through a difficult time, but we thank the GMRA Foundation Fiji.
The foundation worked with the district office to identify families that were in need. Felipe Naikaso, FBC News.
With the COVID-19 halting in-person dining experiences and limiting restaurants from offering sit-down services, many businesses are struggling to keep afloat. Shweta Vandana spoke with two fast food chains about their struggles.
Fiji is currently battling the second wave of COVID-19, and our favorite fast food businesses are struggling to stay afloat. McDonald's managing director tells FBC News that the business is significantly down.
Around the current conditions, we're doing everything we can to keep all our staff employed and serve as many customers as we can through the drive-thrus, and hoping that the situation improves in the future.
Wishbone is also one of people's favorite fast food eatery. However, the director tells us that their drinks are going out of date and overall business is going very bad.
We don't have any eating, we only have the takeaways. And most of our product, like all the drinks are getting bad, it's out of date. So we can't sell all our drinks, and eating, there's no eating stuff, only takeaway. And overall business is really, really bad.
Despite the fast food businesses not doing very well at this time, a number of people were seen lining outside these eateries. Shweta Vandana, FBC News.
In world news, the group of 7 richest democracies seeking to rival China have adopted a plan to support lower and middle-income countries in building better infrastructure. However, details of how the G7 plan will be financed remain unclear. It's common that many couples succeed in running a business together. The close relationship, shared goals and unwavering support they have often makes entrepreneurship a natural fit. In today's Successful Fijian, we spoke to Elaine Chand, a wife and owner of the best roti shop at My FNPF Place in Suva. Apanisa Wangai Randovu reports.
The Best Roti Shop opened its first outlet in Suva in 2009 after years of struggle.
We started from the scratch since we are hailing from a middle class family. We have been through each and every struggle a middle class person goes through.
The couple worked at various other places while shaping their future.
We learned our experience through working in hardware companies, retail businesses, sales. We weren't much of a high-profile people.
Chand, after successfully running this restaurant, they opened another branch in Losori to support other relatives.
Then again, maybe a sister company that side to help more families, involve more family people, support more of them.
Looking back now, Chand dedicates her success to years of hard work.
We wouldn't have known that we could do it. That if the struggle wouldn't have been there, we wouldn't have known that this is our quality to strive for the success.
The mother of 2 believes customers and family played a huge role in running a business.
Running a business, a food business, doesn't need you to have a rocket science degree. The values, how you speak to the customers, how you understand the customers, sometimes you have to go down your level to understand the customer's needs. And that's the main, how you're gonna be getting the actual dollar of your investment returned back.
Chand says while things were difficult in the beginning, she is now able to manage her time well between her business and her 2 young children. Apiniso Gardobu, FBC News.
Ahead in sports, defense key for Fijiana. And Lukaku shows class. This and more coming up. Welcome back. We're 2 weeks away from the Oceania Sevens in Australia, and the Fijiana say they have something to prove. With little game time compared to their Australian and New Zealand counterparts, coach Sayasi Fuli is optimistic they will work something out in the next few days. Attack has not been much of a problem for the Fijiana, but they need to concentrate on defense.
Very organized defensive against good opposition and maintain that balance of patience and continue to work hard. All these teams that have been dominating in the World 7 Series, they are very strong and have stable set pieces. And that is one area we've been focusing in the last 4 or 5 weeks.
Rebels number 8 EC Naisarani has been rewarded for his recent fine form in the Super Rugby Trans-Tasman. Wallabies coach Dave Rennie has included the 26-year-old former Ratu Kandavu level school student in his squad to prepare for the upcoming tests against France. Naisarani was not part of Rennie's squad last year. Other Fijians in the squad are Marika Korimbete, Filippo Dangunu and Rob Valetini, while Seru Pepeli Uru misses out. Suliasi Vunivalu also failed to make the side due to a hamstring injury. At the end of a night of huge emotion in Copenhagen, Denmark, there was relief. Relief that its football star Christian Eriksen, who collapsed shortly before halftime in Denmark's opening Euro 2020 game against Finland, was awake and stable in hospital. As Aquila Dama reports, the match had to be suspended for almost 2 hours before it resumed. The Blues will host the Highlanders at Eden Park in Super Rugby Trans-Tasman final next week. This follows the Blues' 31-21 win over Tevita Kurindrani's Force last night. Sevilano Rees scored a hat-trick for the Crusaders in their 52-26 win against the Rebels, but it was not enough to secure a place in the final. Flying Fijians halfback Frank Lomani also crossed over for the Rebels. Raiders winger Semi Valemai was on the scoresheet last night as they defeated Broncos 38-16 in their NRL Round 14 clash. Cloudy conditions with a few showers and fresh to strong winds were experienced over the southern and eastern parts of the country today. The rest of Fiji experienced partially cloudy weather. In the west, it was sunny in the morning, but clouds took over the skies later. Eastwards from Pacific Harbour to Suva, light showers were experienced at some intervals. In the north, cloudy periods with brief showers. At sea, southeast winds 20 to 25 knots, rough seas, moderate southeast swells. High tide is at 9:04 p.m. with the next low tide at 2:47 a.m. tomorrow. Sunrise will be at 6:35. For tomorrow, cloudy periods with brief showers over the eastern parts and the interior of larger islands. Elsewhere, mainly fine. Looking further on to Tuesday, expect much of the same conditions. And recapping our main stories, mothers and newborns transferred to Lautoka. More than 500 returned to work following approvals, and police officers told to keep up the tempo. For these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. To our poll question, this week we are asking, should those spreading misinformation about the vaccine be charged? Visit our FBC News website to answer. You can send us newsworthy pictures and videos. Email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via our various social media accounts. You can also download our FBC app to keep updated with the very latest in news and sports and listen to our 6 radio stations live. That's your news this evening. I'll see you again tomorrow. Until then, stay safe. Modemanta.